YouTube. How y'all doing this evening? It's your girl Valencia coming at you. I'm not feeling too well, but I promised to do my live, so I'm coming at you on this Monday, January the 12th, 2026. And I'm going to give a couple of minutes for people to come in. Um, as I said, I'm not feeling too well today. Think it's all this cold weather that's finally taking a hold and gripped me to the point where I really didn't feel like doing this live, but I put a post out on my social media platforms, and I also made a promise. And one thing that I was taught is if you make a promise, it's meant to be kept. So that's why I'm here, hoping that you all will forgive me for being a little bit under the weather and coming at y'all with all these cold germs that I have. And I wanted to touch on a couple of things with my YouTube family. Like I said in my post that I put out. Oh, y'all gotta forgive me. I'm trying to get comfortable. I can't even get comfortable because, like I said, I'm not feeling well. But at the end of the day, the show must go on. Um, give a few minutes for a couple of my subscribers to get in here. And I apologize, y'all. I meant to come on here probably about 7 o'clock, but as I said, I'm struggling a little bit today. Whew. Didn't even get my morning walk in today. That's how bad it is. And y'all know normally rain, hail, sleet, or snow, I'm out on my morning walk. But today, these old bones not being what they used to be, just couldn't do it. But I know once I get off this live, I'm going to try to get me some rest. I got me some hot tea with lemon here, trying to help me to get myself together a little bit. I see a couple of people have come in already. I'm going to hold tight for a minute, and then I will get into my topics and issues that I wanted to talk about that I spoke of in my posts that I put out on my social media platforms in reference to this live today. I know it's a little bit late, so y'all, I apologize for it being a little late. But your girl ain't too spry today. I'm making it the best way I know how. Ooh, it's crazy when you can't even get comfortable. I can't even get comfortable right now, but such is life. I'm sure it's a whole lot more people out here in the world that's a whole lot more uncomfortable than I am. Even feeling under the weather, so I will not complain. And let me start going into some of the topics that I wanted to discuss in this live. First of all, I wanted to go into the post that I put out in reference to the unaliving by the ICE agents of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Apparently, that was a very, hey there, how are you doing? I see people coming in, trying to give people time to come in before I really get into the crust of this whole live. The first thing I wanted to talk about was, like I said, the ICE agent unaliving of Nicole or Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That was unfortunately unalived. Hey, how are you doing? Is that Soriano Kids Vlog? Hey there. Alden McMines or McMinus. How you doing? Hello, right back to you guys. Yeah, so in reference to the incident that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I think it was what, about 5 days ago? 3 or 5 days ago that god awful incident occurred. Um since I put out the information, Alden McMindon, how are you? I see you. See you too. Yeah, so since I put out the post on that, I think it was like the day that it happened or the day after it happened, I have gathered more information on that whole situation. Apparently, um, with new footage that I have seen, it's more to that story than was originally put out, um, in reference to how the whole thing unfolded to the point where, whew, that that young woman was. Happy birthday, James or Jameson Cardillo. Jameson Cardillo 1049. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Best wishes for many, many more to come. You're so welcome. Jameson Cardillo. Did I say that right? Let me know. I don't like mispronouncing people's names because I get a little bit ruffled under my feathers. Okay, I'm on the right track. Jameson Cardillo. Happy birthday, 1049. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Ozzy V Rides. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Did you all hear about or did you all see my post on my social media in reference to the United States of America ICE agent um, that apparently unalived Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis, Minnesota? As I was saying, there's more information that comes out. That's one reason why I give like a pretty generic posting or generic information initially when it is an incident that has occurred and it's new and fresh, because you may have one set of informational um, pieces that come out initially, and then afterwards, as more and more of the facts come out and are released to the public, as well as other footage from, I guess, 360-degree angle of these incidences. Y'all know the one main thing nowadays that gets a lot of traction when it comes to these things is pretty much everybody has cell phones nowadays. And I had a feeling that a lot of cell phone footage was going to be coming out afterwards. I don't know why that first primary video was so prevalent, but that's why I reserve my opinions for a full scope view or a fuller scope view of what happens in these situations, because the story can be one thing one day, and like here we are days later, the story is constantly evolving and changing. So apparently, from the multiple angles of multiple phone camera video footages that were um, put out and released, it's not as cut and dry as it was originally brought out to us in the public. That's one reason why it's so good to have multiple, and why I get my information from various and multiple news sources, because you have one side of the equation saying it happened this way, then you have another side of the equation saying it happened some way totally different than originally put out to the public. And what I have learned is you got one side, then you got the other side. And normally the truth lies somewhere in the middle, because people are always going to gear their comments and opinions towards what they gather. Information is only as information is only as good as the source. And as we know now, in this whole wide world of devices, gadgets, gizmos, tinker toys, as I call them, um, you can't jump the gun too quick. That's why I normally put out generic, when it's initially happening, generic information, because I like to gather all the facts before I go and do a deeper dive into what my personal opinions is in these incidences like this. And apparently, it's been brought to the media's attention that Miss Renee Nicole Good had some things in her personal life that kind of like, let's just say, clouded the original concept of who she was. They first said she had one child, and now, these days later, it's gone all the way up to 3 children that she has. And apparently, there were some child abuse allegations that have been made against her and her partner. Um, the other woman that was screaming outside of the van before this horrific incident went down, screaming. And, you know, when you look at it, multiple times from multiple different angles, you can see a whole lot more than you can see initially. And what I did see with my own eyes from all the footage that I have seen is that she was instructed by the ICE agents to get out of her car, which she did not. Instead, she made a choice, for whatever the reason was, she made her choice to put the vehicle in drive and proceed to drive the vehicle, which people say, oh, well, she didn't hit the officer. Well, from what I saw, she came pretty daggone close. And it's also being put out that that particular ICE officer had been in another incident. I think they said like 6 months prior, um, involving a motor vehicle where he was struck. So the trauma from that alone can definitely um, put a person in a frightful situation. And especially when you see a multi-thousand-pound vehicle coming into your direction. So I'm still reserving my judgments and opinions, or wholehearted opinions, to allow the investigation to play itself all the way out. But in any case, I still would like to send my prayers and condolences again to Renee Nicole Good's family and friends and neighbors and so forth and so on that have been affected by her passing. No one, in my opinion, who wants or acts to be pow-powed in the face. Had to be a god-awful scene, I'm sure. But again, my prayers and condolences to her family and friends in her passing and in their loss of her. Because it doesn't matter what type of person she allegedly was, the point and the crust of the whole thing is that she is no longer here for her family. And it's not easy losing a member of your family. I know all too well, with as many family members and close family members that I have lost. And another thing I wanted to talk about on this live is we're getting a whole lot of, I guess, backlash, I want to say, as far as these Supreme Court cases that are going all the way um, through the judicial process. And I wanted to ask my social media family. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, the Supreme Court is geared to Donald Trump because he's packed the court and this, that, and the third. But I want to ask my social media family, why is it that we can be so focused on, quote unquote, Donald Trump's Supreme Court and not ask ourselves why during the Biden administration it was floated initially in the beginning of his presidency about adding more justices to the Supreme Court, which he never did. That causes me to really, really ponder the whole United States Supreme Court 9-person um, thoughts that go around in reference to people saying that it's Donald Trump's Supreme Court. My opinion is it didn't have to be, because when Joe Biden was in the office, as well as Barack Obama and, you know, other presidents, had the opportunity to make the Supreme Court a more leveled playing field. Why did they just talk about that and not do it? That's the question that I want all of my social media family to ask themselves, because they've kind of like shoved that whole subject under the rug, and now it's just, oh, it's Donald Trump's Supreme Court. Why is that when Barack Obama and Joe Biden had an opportunity to level the playing field when it came to adding more justices and they didn't do it? I definitely want you all's thoughts on that. So drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel here. As you all can see, I'm still building. I'm definitely still building. The next live I do, prayerfully, I'll feel better and I'll be able to do audio and visual, because I prefer to be able to talk directly to my social media family and have them to see, because a visual of a person is a whole lot better than a voice when it comes to these social media platforms. But this evening, y'all, I'm struggling, not feeling well. So, y'all don't want to see me. I look a mess and a wreck right now. I look like I've been beat up with a big old Mack truck, ran over again and again and again. And like I told y'all, I didn't even get out to my morning walk this morning. And as y'all can see, my throat is just, ugh. It's not painful, it's just scratchy, but that's enough to whew, throw me out of the running temporarily. I'm going to keep on drinking this tea with lemon and everything, though. To get better. That's my goal for the next time I see you all. And I also wanted to say that I finally got to my 10,000 TikTok subscribers, everyone. If you all here on my YouTube channel or on my TikTok as well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I have definitely gotten to my 10,000 subscribers. And also go and check out my TikTok shop, where there are a slew of products that are on there for you all to check out and see if you see anything you like and purchase it on my TikTok shop. And you all, I'm sure, saw or if you didn't, I posted earlier this week about a product recall. Y'all know I like to give y'all the consumer alerts that I come across as well. And this one this week really, really hit home for me, being a mother and a grandmother. It is the Even Flow baby car seats for the car that have now been recalled due to safety issues. And if you all want any further information on like the model numbers and so forth and so on. You can check those out on my social media platforms as well, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter. I have posted, I don't know if I did it on Twitter or X. I got to check that out, but I know I put it on my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All the model numbers of the ones that have been recalled. And there's also an 800 number there in case you all wanted to or know of anybody that has these baby car seats or have one yourself for your own baby where you can call. It's a toll free 800 number in those posts to give you the information to call and get further information on that product recall. I'm just those are the recalls with the children that really get up under my skin because we as parents we're buying things like baby car seats thinking we're making our baby safer, and actually when it comes down to it, you're buying a product and then subsequently you find out that you know it's not as safe as you thought it was. So definitely please check that product recall out. The as I said, model numbers and all that are listed in my post. And another subject and topic that I wanted to discuss on this live is the Detroit case of Naziah Harris. I don't like not giving updates on that because, as you all probably already know from my prior posts on my social media platforms, that case has been pushed back to, if I'm not mistaken, March the 7th, but I will definitely come back as we draw a little bit closer to that court date. So we will not forget about Naziah Harris in Detroit, Michigan, in the United States, who has been missing and unaccounted for since I believe like January of 2023. If I'm not mistaken, that case, oh, it might have been 24, but I'll definitely do a recap on that case for my social media platform so we can continue to follow that case of the Detroit, Michigan, United States of America 13-year-old who has been missing, and apparently and allegedly one of her aunt's children's father had allegedly um raped this baby and impregnated her. So y'all know I'm gonna continue to follow that story because that one has me. Ooh, Naziah's baby Peaches and Relisha Rudd. Those cases just really. I'm not gonna stop reposting those cases because those cases really have broken my heart because of the innocence of these children that have been involved in these cases that no child should be, or no child's name should be attached to. So I'll definitely keep y'all and give y'all more updates on Naziah Harris's case as well as we approach this next court date coming up. It was supposed to be um happening the latter part of last year, 2025, but it got kicked into 2026. So, if I'm not mistaken, that date of that trial is supposed to begin, or jury selection is supposed to begin on March the 7th. But I'll definitely keep y'all abreast of what's going on and when you can look for the most current updates and movement in Nazia's case. And the last thing I want to touch on in this live is this whole Minneapolis, Minnesota chaos that's going on. The Renee Nicole Good story has kind of overshadowed another case that's in the news that it seems to me like it's trying to be buried and not exposed as vigorously as the ICE agent incident, which makes me even more curious. And that is this whole fraud. I mean, this massive hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that has been siphoned through fraud from the Somalian people there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm definitely going to give y'all some more information on that on a later date too, because a lot of this stuff is pending right now. But there are also a lot of deportations that are going on. And really, to be honest with y'all, it is very, very interesting finding out how millions and hundreds of millions, if not, like I said, billions of dollars that the people of Minnesota have, I guess, not knowingly been defrauded of. Now, if you're a person like me, you know how hard it is to get any type of assistance from the United States of the American government. I have been denied so many times for so many different things. Even like I told y'all in another prior live on my morning walk that I told y'all, even me trying to help other people, such as homeless people, hungry people, and things like that, where they're automatically and shall I say, cavalierly been totally denied and looked at like, how dare you, after working 40 years plus in the United States of America, ask us for anything? Yeah, we got your tax dollars, but so what? And you have a whole large group of people from another country that has come over here to the United States and just use the United States, my tax dollars, your tax dollars, and anybody else that pays taxes in the United States of America, defrauded for their own personal gain to take back to their countries. I mean, you can't even make this kind of stuff up. It's so unbelievable to a normal thinking person's mind that something of this magnitude could even happen. I have been denied for things. I have been accused of, not being able to apply for my own tax dollars back, whether for myself, for my family, or for people that I don't even know that I'm trying to help in my activism and advocacy. Yet you have tens of thousands of people from other countries that can come over here and suck the well dry for their own personal gain as well as their country on the other side of the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, but the ocean nonetheless. Mm, 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 mm. The audacity, the greed, and the wickedness is just, I can't even put it into words, y'all. I really can't. But in any case, I'm going to keep my eyes on that story too. So I'll definitely be coming back to y'all with more on that subject in another live at another later date. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to discuss too is it seems to be a disconnect. I think I'm not sure whether it's a generational disconnect or whatever, but I had spoken on this before about the disrespect of the elders of this country coming from the younger generation, which I consider to be the generation undermined or generations undermined, such as my children and my grandchildren. And y'all already remember when I talked about the Layla Ali and Clarissa Shields incident, where they were going back and forth, which that definitely should not have been, because Clarissa Shields being a younger boxer, I just feel like she should have had a little bit more respect for Layla Ali. First and foremost, being her elder. Let's just take the whole boxing situation out of the equation. I mean, when you have a generation under you talking to and coming at you like you're on their age level, is just astonishing to me because I've always been taught and always had, and it is instilled in me. And I am happy and glad and proud that it is to respect my elders. And from that whole thing with Layla Ali and Clarissa Shields, now we have another situation that I feel like is kind of sort of the same thing, except for it's a different gender. We're going from female gender to now male gender. The Damon Dash and Jim Jones whole little beef that's going on, where Jim Jones pulled up on Dame Dash with some what I would call um, goons, flunkies, whatever you want to call them, to actually fight Damon Dash. I mean, y'all, I can't make this stuff up. I don't even be believing it when I see it. Like, what? What are we doing here? Where they do that at? When do we get to this? But anyway, I'm gonna keep my eyes on these stories that I'm talking to y'all about now, and the next time I come to y'all, I'll be sprinkling this in with my newer stories and updates that I have for y'all. And y'all pray for me to feel better, as I pray for y'all all the time. And I'm so grateful for my social media following to the point where I can't even express it. I'm so appreciative. And like I said, like, share, and subscribe to this, my YouTube channel, as well as all my other social media platforms: Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And until the next time, y'all, Your girl Valencia got to get her some rest now. So I will talk to y'all later.